Hey guys, it's Dad. It is January 13th, 2020, which you know what that means. It means yesterday was my birthday. Loved being with you guys. I had a blast. Elizabeth, thank you for the poem. That was really cool. I will treasure that thing. This morning I'm going to read my coffee stained Thic Nhat Hahn book. He's a Vietnamese monk, if you didn't remember that, and it's on the miracle of mindfulness, which I am probably the worst at, but I want to learn this year to become more mindful, and I hope you guys can learn with me. So I'm going to read you a couple of quick things out of this. This is page 5, and it's called Eating a Tangerine. I remember a number of years ago when Jim was the guy that was washing the dishes to wash the dishes. When Jim and I were first traveling together in the United States, we sat under a tree and shared a tangerine. He began to talk about what he would be doing in the future. Whenever he thought about a project that seemed attractive or inspiring, Jim became so immersed in it that he literally forgot about what he was doing in the present. He popped a section of tangerine in his mouth, and before he had begun chewing it, had another slice ready to pop into his mouth again. He was hardly aware he was eating a tangerine. All I had to say was, "You ought to eat the tangerine section you've already taken." Jim was startled into realizing what he was doing. It was as if he had been eating the It was as if he hadn't been eating the tangerine at all. If he had been eating anything, he was eating his future plans. A tangerine has sections. If you can eat just one section, you can probably eat the entire tangerine. But if you can't eat a single section, you cannot eat the tangerine. Jim understood. Slowly put his hand down and focused on the presence of the slice already in his mouth. He chewed it thoughtfully before reaching down and taking another section. Later, when Jim went to prison for activities against the war, I was worried about whether he could endure the 4 walls of prison and sent him a very short letter. "Do you remember the tangerine we shared when we were together? Your being there is like the tangerine. Eat it and be one with it. Tomorrow it will be no more." Anyway, this kind of hits home with me, guys, because I am often lost in my thoughts about the future and not focusing on just being in the moment. So that's something I want to work on this year. I'm going to read just the last of this chapter, and that'll get us through this first chapter, or essentially what I wanted you to hear of this first chapter. It's called The Essential Discipline. More than 30 years ago, when I first entered the monastery, the monks gave me a small book called The Essential Discipline for Daily Use, written by the Buddhist monk Thic from Bao Sun Pagoda. And they told me to memorize it. It was a thin book. It couldn't have been more than 40 pages. That's thin. But it contained all of the thoughts Thic used to awaken his mind while doing any task. When he woke up in the morning, his first thought was, "Just awakened, I hope that every person will attain great awareness and see in complete clarity." When he washed his hands, he used this thought to place himself in mindfulness. "Washing my hands, I hope that every person will have pure hands to receive reality." The book is comprised entirely of such sentences. Their goal was to help the beginning practitioner take hold of his own consciousness. The Zen master Thic helped all of us young novices to practice in relatively easy way those things which are taught in the Sutra of Mindfulness. Now, guys, I want you to know that I'm not an advocate of Buddhism or of like the deeper thoughts of complete wholeness and mindness with nature and all of that. as a religion, but as a practice, it oftentimes, what we're reading here, well, how do I say it? It's good to maintain some of these practices in life, okay? Each time you put on your robe, washed the dishes, went to the bathroom, folded your mat, carried buckets of water, or brushed your teeth, you could use one of the thoughts from the book in order to take hold of your own consciousness or your mind. The Bible talks often about the mind and about our thoughts and about how we should take them captive, okay? It's just, this is a little bit different in its approach, but I like the way it was put, so I'm sharing it with you. The Sutra of Mindfulness says, when walking, the practitioner must be conscious that he is walking. When sitting, the practitioner must be conscious that he is sitting. When lying down, the practitioner must be conscious that he is lying down. No matter what position one's body is in, the practitioner must be conscious of that position. Practicing, thus, the practitioner lives in direct and constant mindfulness of the body. The mindfulness of the positions of one's body is not enough, however. We must be conscious of each breath, each movement, every thought and feeling, everything which has any relation to ourselves. I think oftentimes we engage in activities that we use to escape what we are going through, what our thoughts are telling us. Playing video games might be one of those, or reading books might be one of those, or me sitting in my garage having a cigarette might be one of those. There's a lot of things that might be that. And he's just saying, embrace where you're at in the moment and experience that and be conscious of that. There's no reason to escape it. We don't have to escape things. We're far better off in life if we can learn to embrace where we're at and make the most of that moment, whatever it is that we are choosing to do in that moment, okay? So, the last little bit, but what is the purpose of the sutra's instruction? Where are we to find the time to practice such mindfulness? If you spend all day practicing mindfulness, how will there ever be enough time to do all the work that needs to be done to change and to build an alternative society? How does Alan manage to work, study Joey's lessons, take Anna's diapers to the laundromat, and practice mindfulness at the same time? And I think he's going to share that with us as we go forward, but I'm not going to address that with you today. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you. And I guess that's it for today. So anyway, I hope you guys are well. I know you're in school right now. I'm getting ready to do some recording and some calling to some of my clients to get some new things out this year and hopefully generate some new business. Just wanted to tell you I love you and share this a little bit with you, and I hope you guys are well, and I hope this video finds you well wherever you're at and whatever you're doing. By the way, I'm going to try to get some of this YouTube content off of YouTube and onto a different site that's maybe a little bit more reliable. I've been told that YouTube can just kind of delete your stuff, and I don't really want that because there's a lot of instruction that I want to share with you guys here. So anyway, good Lord, I look old. 43 years old. Let me try this. I think I look less old from a little bit more of a distance. So maybe I'll try to shoot from here instead of from here. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, love you guys. I'll catch you later.